I don't know that I've seen this before. Wow. I'm trying to wrap my arms around this. Man. So, in a series of posts, Donald Trump, and I'm reading this verbatim, hang them. George Washington would. Wow. Trump calls for Democratic members of Congress to be hanged. Let me read this. And then I got to get to the congressman. It's called seditious behavior at the highest level. He's referring to, among other people, our Congressman Chris Deluzio. It's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Wow. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. An example must be set. Wow. Hang them. One of the people that the president believes should be executed, Congressman Chris Deluzio. Am I accurate here, sir? Is that what he's saying?
Hey, Marty, thanks for having me on. And I'm sad to say that in the United States of America in 2025, the president has done exactly what you said. He's called for my execution and several of my other colleagues. This is a dark time for the country. I've been on your show and condemned political violence no matter where it's come from, left or right. And I think this is a moment where patriots have to condemn this dangerous and reckless call for political violence from the president. Full stop.
Well, Congressman, folks, this is not hyperbole. Let's be blunt here, sir. There's no way in hell this won't provoke folks to say, yeah, let's hang him. Right? Right?
I think the American people are good and decent and have good hearts, and this is not who we are. And I'm not naive about the president's willingness to call for violence. He's done it to me. He's done it to others. But I think we are better than this, and I think we condemn it. And I will tell you this. I am not going to be intimidated from doing my job. I'm holding my oath, and I'm not going to let this guy intimidate me for a second.
But sir, again, we have discussed this before, and it's of great concern to a lot of folks. This puts you in jeopardy, does it not, sir? It does it not, sir?
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It puts your family in jeopardy, does it not, sir? Your staff in jeopardy, does it not, sir?
It does all those things. And look, this is not about me. I want to be clear. Yes, he's threatened to and called for my death, but this is not about me, right? This is about our Constitution, whether our Congress and the American people have a say in our government. Because when you have the president call for the death of his political rivals because they restate the Constitution and a basic rule that you learn in boot camp and an officer candidate school and everything else, that is a dangerous time for our country, whatever your politics. I think it's a time for Americans to come together to say we've had about enough of this.
Talk to me like I'm a third grader, sir. Is there a specific incident where he has told folks to do something that was an illegal order, sir? Military folks. Are you referring to some of the attacks on the boats, sir?
I'm not referring to that.
Okay.
And what you do is you train, right? You train before you're pressed with those decisions, which is why you learn these principles in boot camp and otherwise. And look, let's be clear, right? Donald Trump as president in his first term, then Secretary of Defense and then Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, were in the room with him where he told them to go shoot civilians unarmed in their legs. He just called for my death for speaking truth about the Constitution. So I don't need to guess about things he's willing to do. He just did it and did it to me and my colleagues by calling for our death and hanging. And to me, it makes even more urgent the point that we should be standing up for our Constitution and the rule of law.
I want to play this video. Hold on, play this clip, please. Hold on. Listen.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Representative Chris Deluzio.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
Representative Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Jason Crow. I was a captain in the United States Navy.
Former CIA officer.
Former Navy.
Former paratrooper and Army Ranger.
Former intelligence officer.
Former Air Force.
We want to speak directly to members of the military
And the intelligence community.
Who take risks each day to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now. Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals.
Against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
or our Constitution.
We know this is hard and that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
The Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
your vigilance is critical
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
and who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
All right. So Congressman, I don't know if you heard that, but it was the video you released. What manifested that, sir? That's what I'm trying to drill down, and I apologize for my ignorance. What manifested that, sir?
No. There's been reporting of folks concerned about some of the plans, for instance, and the president has talked about in front of the admirals and generals not too long ago of using and treating the American people, American cities like war zones, sending in active duty troops. There's been reporting as recently as today about lawyers in the military voicing objections to some of the orders coming down and some of the analysis for the legal authorization for things. There's a general sense of unease. And the time where you train your troops is before there's a problem, which is why those of us who served understand that it's a great time to remind folks who know their obligations. We have the best armed military in the world, that you've got an affirmative duty to follow lawful orders and that no one's should be forced ever to follow illegal ones. And I'll put it this way. President Joe Biden could not have ordered the troops to vote for Democrats, right? That's not a lawful order. There are plenty of things the president could do that could really put our troops in dangerous places, and that's why you train to know your responsibilities and your obligations is exactly what our commanders do for our troops.
I'm not certain, sir, that you ever expected the President of the United States to ask for you to be hanged.
I can assure you, I've never expected that, Marty. I never thought we'd be in a place as a country where that's something our president would do. And I don't take it lightly, but it tells me all I need to know about him, and I know the American people. We reject this, and I want to say this again.
Yes, sir.
I've said it on when I've come on with you in the past. Whether it was Donald Trump who was targeted at Butler, Josh Shapiro who was targeted at his home at Harrisburg, Charlie Kirk who was killed not too long ago, I have condemned each of those attempts at political violence. And to see the man who has the most that he could do to bring down the temperature in this country, ratchet it up by calling for my death and for others, it's disgraceful. And I think people across the political spectrum should condemn it. I've been glad to see Governor Shapiro and Senator Fetterman say the same, to condemn these calls for violence. This should be something every Democrat and Republican around here should be able to do.
Congressman, have you taken any precautions, sir, additionally to what you've had in place in the past?
Yes, and as you can understand, I don't really want to get into details over the radio.
No, I just wanted to ask you. Chris Deluzio, Congressman, truth to power, sir. I always appreciate you, and I thank you for reaching out, sir.
Thanks, Marty. Thanks for having me on.
All I got is damn. It's very unsettling.